I'm Brian Wright, and this is the Daily Bee. Tough times to say the least. We're in the middle of this global pandemic, and now we're in the middle of a race riot. We have racial issues and tensions all across the United States. This is not what we want to wake up to on a Monday morning and have to deal with. But because we haven't dealt with so many things for so long, this is what happens. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I can speak to the condition of a person of color in the United States. I can only speak to my own experience. I am not a person of color. I'm a white guy from the suburbs. I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to pull that card and say, I have black friends. I do, but it doesn't give me any right to speak on their behalf or anything else. Like any one of us, we have no right to really speak on any experience but our own with any real authority. So the experience that I can speak of here is that the reason we don't have the tension in my world when it comes to my business, which is Killer Bee Combat Sports, which is a martial arts training facility, the reason that we don't have the divide is because for the time that we're here, we have a common goal. We have a common path. We depend upon each other to get through it. We need each other to create the things that we're looking to achieve. So by having a common goal, and the only thing that separates us is our commitment to the work necessary to achieve that goal, we don't have the strife that we're looking at right now. We don't have a divide where it's a black thing, a white thing, a preference thing, a social class, whatever. Everyone on the mat is sweating the same, is struggling the same, and is doing the same things. The only difference is on the individual abilities and experience. But we are working together as individuals, looking to achieve individual goals. But it takes a group effort to get us there, because in martial arts, this is not something you can do by yourself. It's a combat sport. You need training partners. You need people of varying skills and sizes and everything. So the common denominator for us is just the effort, and everything else goes away. Because when we're working really hard, we don't have time to say, I don't want to work with this guy, or I do want to work with that guy. We are just doing the work, and we have a solitary focus. Now, if I put that into the context of what's going on today out in the world, I look at people that are divided by ideology. I look at people that are divided over lots of thoughts and things, and we're just not coming together in terms of what it is we're trying to achieve. I guess because we have a two-party system that's neck and neck right now. They're just smashing each other, fighting for, votes and control. We've got, large groups of people that are picking a team, and then we're battling it out, and then we're ending up in these kind of situations. The statistics say the world is not what some people feel it is. Now, I've got to say there, I'm not taking a side on statistics, because if people feel the way they feel, that's real. That's how they feel. And we have to acknowledge that, and we have to respect that. I had a conversation with somebody yesterday, and I was like, we as, I'm not going to say the word privileged, but people that are fortunate to have the path that we have in this life, don't understand the little things that are done and that are said that put a lot of people in color in the positions they are. The little old lady who takes her purse from the aisle and puts it on the other side of her because a black guy's walking down the aisle. The security guard that sits on the person of color, but not the white person. The people that look at them funny in the wrong situation. The restaurant who treats you like crap, which happened to me. I was at a meal with athletes in a really nice restaurant. This athlete is worth a decent amount of money, and he was paying for a table of 12 to have a meal, and the waitress treated that person like crap and treated me differently. I wasn't even paying. I just happened to be the white guy. I see these kinds of things all the time. Again, they're not really affecting me. They're things that I can see, and I can speak about this way. But I just say to myself, could you imagine being one of those people that's walking around and feeling like they're looked at differently? Can you imagine being one of those people that the world is saying the statistics don't back up your feelings, even though you're seeing these small things all throughout your day, your week, your month, your life. And then you see things where a person runs through a neighborhood and they get gunned down by the locals. Or you see the police arrest somebody off of a charge that was over a nominal amount of money, and it didn't look like there was any violence going on, and that person lost their life because the cop chose a method to restrain him that he was not really understanding. Now look at us. We're all over the place. You got Antifa people. You got white supremacists. You have Black Lives Matter. You have normal folk trying to do peaceful protest. You have all these differing factions, the left, the right, all this crap going on. When the truth of the matter is there's no solution in any of these groups, there's no solutions in any of these parties. The only solution that we have is within the individuals that we are. We need to speak to our experience, and we need to actually speak to it, share our experience, have conversations, and understand that we have to be empathetic and respectful to the positions that everyone has. Express how you feel. Express where you come from. Let someone else do the same and try and understand where they're coming from, and hopefully they'll understand where you're coming from, and hopefully we can meet in the middle and we can create an actual solution. Instead of blaming it on a president or waiting for a presidential hopeful or thinking that our community leaders or whatever. If there's someone that's making money, making a living based upon your success or failure in these social politics, or is relying on your vote to maintain a position, it's not a real relationship there. These are not people that are really going to be able to help you. These are people that are using you because you fit their agenda to get where they want to go. To change your life, you need to focus on your experience and the people that are around you. And you have to focus on where you want to go. And you need to speak to the people that are your obstacles. And you've got to hear where they're coming from. And you've got to meet. The violent situation is what it is. I'm not going to judge in terms of right or wrong. I think the cop who killed George is absolutely wrong. I think the rioters that are looting stores are absolutely wrong. I think that the extremes are wrong. But I'm not also going to say that I don't understand where it all comes from. These cops, they get put through some programming that puts them in mindsets where they feel they're at jeopardy and they take extreme actions. They are wrong to take the extreme actions. But we've got to recognize why they take these actions. And we've got to recognize how are we going to have a conversation that's going to educate people to be more empathetic in their actions and do this differently. Then the rioters, there are some people that really are that enraged. These are people that feel like they have no voice. These are people, because all those little things I was talking about before make them feel marginalized, make them feel like no one cares. And what happens at some point when you feel like no one cares for long enough, you're going to take actions that are going to make people pay attention to you, because what you're craving is a voice. And sometimes you don't have a voice. Sometimes you have a fist or you have a rock. It's sad, but it's true. And again, the guy who picked up the rock and threw it through the store window, it's the wrong move, but it's an understandable move when you look at the culture and the history and the lack of voice that these people have had. Violence is not the answer, but violence is the only tool that some people have on both sides. I'm not picking a side. I'm not saying left. I'm not saying right. I'm saying I'm human. I have my own thing. And we all have our own thing. And we just need to communicate more. And if we can learn from anything, going back to what I originally said was, the reason we don't have racial preference, political, economic, no divide for the 1 to 2 hours that we train is because the only currency we have during that time is effort towards a shared goal. That's it. We depend upon each other to achieve something. And until as a society we can recognize that we depend upon each other to keep this society together and moving the ball forward, we're always going to have these problems. You have a lot of people that were rioting and they're saying, why is Target getting hit? Why not? The majority of the people that are working at these Targets are working for low wages. They were not afforded the opportunity to go on unemployment and get an extra $600 and federal stimulus and different things. These are people that are in an economy that is different than what I'm sitting in. These are people that had to work. These are people that, we're saying are essential because we want to get coffee and we want to be able to wipe our ass and we want to be able to eat the foods that we want to eat. These are people that kept the lights on and the stores going so that we can be comfortable during these times. They were not comfortable. They're putting themselves at risk. So of course, the big boxes that are supporting these people through this time are the ones that get hit because they have a history with these people. And when I say these people, that's everyone that works for these stores, black, brown, whatever. There's a ton of people of all colors that are feeling the pinch because they get stuck in that essential category right now. And of course, when they feel like they're attacked, they're going to fight back. So again, let's try and get over ourselves and stop using crazy adjectives, calling rioters, animals and thugs, and then calling white people privileged and whatever, and understand that we all come from different experience. And then sometimes we lose sight of the other person's experience, and we start defining their experience inappropriately because we're sitting in the position that we are, not understanding what the other side's about. We need to keep the conversation going. We need to find a common goal. We have to stop fighting over all of these issues, and we have to start working together to solve them, find solutions, and stop creating physical harm and economic tragedy, because these are the things that are separating the conversation. So I've spoken about it long enough. I'm not really happy on this Monday because I know individually we're all way better than we're allowing ourselves to be together. So this is Brian Wright. This is the Daily Bee. I'm out. And I truly do mean peace with these signs today. Please find some peace. Find some unity. Make a commitment to find a shared goal, and let's get ahead of this.